Well, folks, I think it's about that time. We are approaching the end of the month. That can only mean one thing. 2025 is about to reach its end. And with that happening, I believe it's about time I hop onto the annual trend, which is posting your own top 10 or top 30 strongest characters in the series list. And this time, we will be doing One Piece. Top 10 strongest One Piece characters of all time. So let's just start it off from the bottom. Real quick though, some very, very special characters I just need to mention because they could be in this list, but well, there are quite a lot of top tiers in One Piece, I'm not gonna lie. First we have Ryuma. Ryuma is a character who I would personally like to include in this top 10 list, but because of his ambiguous I was trying to say a word right there, I just completely failed. I don't know how to say it. Pronunciation differs. Because of his lack of feats and simply he completely lives on portrayal, and for that reason he's very hard to scale, as his portrayal is great, but how great is that? All we know about the guy is that he has a black blade, but how significant is it to have a black blade? We really do not know how to scale that, because the only characters who might have black blades are Mihawk, Yuma, and Greenbow or Shuryu. You see, these guys, I can't even confirm if these are real black blades, just because of how ambiguous it is. Oh, that's the word, I finally said it. So Ryuma is in that gray area for me. He might as well be in the top 3 strongest of all time, but because of his lack of definitive feats and statements, he cannot go any higher. And then next I have Shiki, the Golden Lion. Yeah, Shiki is strong, some pretty solid feats and statements, but I don't think any of the things he has would put him above any character in this list, because the lobby is just stacked. It's way too stacked. He just can't fit. He can't. And also in the same boat with Shiki, I have the wings of the former Pirate King, Rayleigh and Scopagabon. These two are goats who are still revered even up to now, even by characters who are in this top 10 list. They would rather not fight these guys, but that doesn't automatically put them in this level. I don't think their prime selves would beat these characters. They would give them an extreme fight, but would they beat them? I just don't see it narratively appropriate for the old gen wings of the pirates being above these guys. And now let's begin our list. On number 10, we have none other than the Frost Demon himself, Kuzan Aokiji. You know, Aokiji is a very intriguing character because Aokiji has some of the best feats ever, period. Because Aokiji fought against Akainu for 12 days straight. Do you guys know who the hell Akainu is? Akainu fought Whitebeard for about an hour or so. I don't even know how long that shit was, but in the short period of boxing, Akainu took off half of Whitebeard's face. He put 2 holes in him. Like, Akainu is known for blowing off limbs, so fighting him consistently for 12 days shows some high level durability, endurance, stamina, literally everything. Haki, like, there's nothing this guy does not have in his arsenal. And especially in his cup fight, we were explicitly shown that he's a Haki demon as well. So Kuzan's placement on number 10, I feel like is very, very non-debatable. On number 9, we have the man himself, Sakazuki Akainu. Yeah, I know some guys are gonna want Akainu to be high on this list, but I'm sorry, pal, it's just not happening. Some people would like to say Akainu is the strongest marine of all time. Well, I just have a simple question for you. Do you think Sakazuki is making Whitebeard, Kaido, and Big Mom run away in God Valley? Do you think if we were to drop him right there, is he making those 3 guys run away? Me personally, I don't think so. I think he's a powerhouse, but he clearly has his own limits. For Christ's sake, this nigga was sweating from Shanks. That's all I gotta say. And then number 8, we have the GOAT of the East himself, Monkey D. Dragon. His feet are purely in the East. That guy been looking East so much, he's managed to gaslight me into thinking he's actually a top tier. I don't know how he pulls it off. He has fodder commanders, he has fodder subordinates who are afraid of fodder characters being the Holy Knights, but somehow he has successfully gaslighted me into putting him in this list. Was I high when I wrote this shit? Anyway, moving on to the next character, we have Marshall D. Teach. I feel like Teach is the most underrated character in One Piece. Or it's more of people underestimate Teach because of his on-screen performance. The 2 things we should know about Teach. Teach has never went all out on screen, and his true ceiling is unknown. That's one thing. Another thing is, Teach before time skip is scarring Shanks. That does not mean he's stronger than Shanks, but this is what it implies. Shanks has fought a lot of top tiers. He has fought Mihawk. He has fought... Bro, Shanks fought a lot of people in his prime.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I mean, back in his day, I said prime by accident there, just completely scrap it. Back in his day, when he was dueling with Mihawk, Shanks was boxing with multiple people. None of those people have really put significant scars on Shanks that are very easy to spot or just like, wow, how did he do that? But a Blackbeard who just got the Douglas fruit was capable of scarring Shanks. Insane feat. Absolutely insane feat. And that same Blackbeard now has the Gura Gura no Mi and has trained with it and mastered it to a point which we do not know. And I have every reason to believe, just like his father, he has all 3 types of Haki. So the moment we see Blackbeard going all out is the day I'm gonna put him way higher in this list. Moving on number 6, we have the debate of the century. The redhead swordsman Shanks and the strongest amongst the swordsmen, Dracul, Oka, and Mihawk. Well, I called him the redhead swordsman, but there's really nothing that proves that Shanks is a swordsman as of now, and also there's really nothing proving that Mihawk
is in fact weaker than Shanks.
So because I don't want to dive into scaling these 2 guys in a 1v1 matchup, I'm gonna make a fully dedicated video onto these guys to see if I could break it down and see how these guys compare to each other. But according to statements which exist for both you and me, we should know that these guys are close in power, regardless of who you think is stronger. So I'm just gonna keep them on number 6. Time for the big dogs. Coming in on number 5, we have Rox D's back. Yeah. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna tell me,
what do you see wrong? What Rox is doing in God Valley, bro? What are you smoking, man? Hey, look at this guy. What is he smoking? Is he high on some shrooms?
no, I'm not high on some shrooms. Rox is not that guy. Understand me. I understand you in believing that Rox is strong. Because it's true, Rox is strong. But is he the strongest? No. Rox was so strong that he could lead an entire era to the point where it was called the era of Rox. That's just how powerful Rox was. But then, you must understand the reason why Rox was the leader of that era. It wasn't because Rox was just generally stronger than everybody. No, Rox had people who would rival him in strength. He had people who could fight him on an even playing field. Rox literally fights with King Harold, but there's a lot of context behind that fight, so I cannot say he's King Harold's level. But still too, Rox has clear rivals. His rivals at that time are Roger and Gup, who are both not yet within their prime. I know people look at the age and then they just decide, well, regular characters' prime is around 40s, so these characters should all be in their primes. But that's not how it works for everybody. Your prime could come later depending on when you became stronger. And this is all because if you look at God Valley, Rox did not really have a counter to immortality until God Valley. So he learnt how to counter immortality. Then after Rox learnt that, Roger and Gup took it a step further, being able to use Haki Mass and an entire new concept of Haki, which Rox himself never got to learn. So I still feel like after God Valley, Roger and Gup would have had more time to learn more advanced forms of Haki because of the experience they had in God Valley. That wouldn't put them leagues above Rox, but they should generally just have the upper hand against Rox. Because if they were rivals and on the same playing field before they learnt about the Holy Knights and regeneration and how to elevate your Haki, now after God Valley, they have every reason to be above Rox. So Rox is strong, yes, he's a very solid benchmark for top tiers in the old gen, but he doesn't sit at the top of the old gen. He's very strong, but he's not at the top. And then now, on my number 4 spot, I have Prime Edward Newgate and Monkey D. Gup. You know, I was really thinking about this one because both narratively and portrayal-wise, this fight could go either way. If you saw God Valley, Newgate wouldn't fight Gup, but would rather fight Roger. I don't know what that implies, but you tell me. But you see, Gup's portrayal is just overall better than Newgate in terms of back in their primes. But we must understand that Newgate held the title of the world's strongest man in an era where both Gup and Roger were roaming the seas. And unlike Roger, where we could make the argument that Roger wasn't at his prime anymore because he had a terminal illness that would literally kill him in 2 years, which had side effects. People like to say it didn't have side effects, but we could use that shit and say Roger wasn't in his prime by the time Newgate got the title. But Gup, on the other hand, Gup doesn't have that kind of backlash. Unlike Roger, we cannot really say anything for Gup. But that doesn't mean that Newgate will just straight up dog walk Gup, because the same Newgate who held the title of the world's strongest man wasn't able to defeat this sick Roger on that island on Odin's flashback. So I don't think he would also be able to beat Gup, because Gup is consistently portrayed as relative to Roger. So if Gup is relative to this Roger who Newgate cannot beat, I really do not know where to place him. I don't think I can put him above Newgate because of Newgate's title, and at the same time I can't really put him below Newgate because I don't think Newgate can defeat him in a straight fight. It's just that Newgate has more hacks and has the Gura Gura, but that doesn't guarantee victory against Gup. For example, in Marineford, it's very safe to say that Gup was stronger than Newgate because Newgate was sick and was barely able to use Haki, unlike Gup, who was only old. So if we're looking at them in their old ages, Gup is stronger. Back in God Valley, Gup is stronger, but in their primes, I believe they're extremely close. So yeah, and I don't really like title scaling because it doesn't mean anything. You could hold the title until you are defeated. If you're not yet defeated, you can still hold the title. So if Gup never defeated Newgate, Newgate can still keep the title, but that doesn't necessarily mean Gup was defeated by Newgate. It could have just been a stalemate. That wouldn't invalidate Edward's title. Now moving on to the number 3 spot, Prime Gold D Roger. You know, my only argument for placing Roger above Gup and Newgate is the fact that whenever people mention the title of the King of the Pirates, it's always associated with being at the top of your era and being the strongest, like surpassing everybody. That's what people consistently mention whenever they talk about Luffy wanting to become the king of the pirates. It's always like, do you believe you can surpass all the Yonko? And even Mihawk himself said it. That goal is much harder than my own, than Zoro's goal, because you have to be on the top of the era, just being number one overall. And I feel like a prime Gold Roger, you should know, Roger is the one who taught Garp how to use Haki Mask, which was a new concept he invented on the fly in God Valley. I feel like he just has a deeper, more solid understanding about Haki than Garp. He should be above Garp overall at his peak. Peak Gold Roger should be the strongest. Newgate being the world's strongest man, it said sometime when Roger was alive. It never says when Newgate reached his peak, he was automatically the strongest. No. And Roger has been on a constant decline. I believe it's God Valley, and then after God Valley, I think it was like 5 years, which the narrator had mentioned in post God Valley. They mentioned like 5 years later, these characters become their peaks, they advance to their primes. All in all, if we consider all this, I think it's a very valid assessment to believe Roger is in fact the strongest of his era and amongst all the old gen pirates, because why would Luffy, our main character, need to be the strongest at the end of the series if Roger, his parallel, doesn't need to be the strongest? So I feel like it wouldn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense. He also needs that status. Now, moving on. Imu. Mu is very interesting because we know close to nothing about their abilities. But off of what we know, just based off of their durability alone, they took the strongest combo attack in the entire series so far. Regardless of if these characters were in their primes or not, this still is the strongest attack ever performed in the series. So Imu just took that shit, showing 0 damage, and really didn't even seem phased at all. That's all I needed to see to know that he, she, they, them is definitely above all the other characters who are in this list. But the one character who Imu is definitely not above is Joy Boy. And this is simply because Imu is afraid of Joy Boy. And while Imu would be afraid of someone who's weaker than them, it wouldn't make any sense. In fact, tied for the number one spot, I have Davy Jones and Joy Boy. Because these two guys seem to be the two strongest of the era. And according to Davy Rocks, he was asking the question, I wonder who you fear most, Joy Boy or Davy? Gunko personally fears Joy Boy more. I guess that could mean that Joy Boy is stronger, but Gunko isn't really Imu. Imu would know who the stronger is amongst the two. So until we have more from them, I'll keep them on number 2. I'll be dropping my top 30 list very soon, so just stay tuned. Like and sub, and yeah, this is my top 10 strongest characters in One Piece as of 2025. Let's go.